Today we're going to be primarily talking about newsletters because these things absolutely freaking rock. Whenever I do a newsletter, no joke, I'm literally getting every single time I do a newsletter, I'm getting a freaking conversion, or at the very least, I'm booking out my calendar. So we're going over exactly how we do newsletters in a quick moment here. Let me just finish up a couple things over here, and I'll get right back. Give me a second here. All right, guys, really quick. First, I'm going to start this off with a quick little sales pointer. By the way, guys, you already know all these calls are recorded. The recap's going to be on Discord in a moment. But I want to start this call off with a question that I got over here, and I actually get these questions a whole lot. The first question is, yo, Blade, how do you sell these people? Let me go over really quick to Discord over here. Because I put up another form onto Discord, and it's all about how we sell our peeps over here, how we make the sales happen. With funding and with credit pair, it's the same concept. And I froze over here. Quick second, guys. Let me try to unfreeze myself over here. There we go. Cool. I think I'm back. Cool. So that's what I was saying. So guys, over here in Discord, we add another section called sales. And this is where all our sales training, pain point checklist, sales scripts, objection handling guides, all that stuff is put onto our Discord over here for you guys to have access to all of our systems so you can scale. Ultimately, what I want to say, guys, is that one of the main important things that I really like to push about selling with credit pair and for funding in itself is that I always try to get a deposit in prior to even pulling any type of credit report. I do this way, what it allows me to do is scale up my entire sales team a lot more effectively, in which case we have a sales team and we have an onboarding team. And by creating that type of separation, you're no longer selling twice. So for example, for credit pair, previously what you would have to do is you had to sell them in for, hey, give me $1 for identity IQ, pull your credit report. That's a sales call right there in itself. And then you sell them onto the actual credit pair service based upon the game plan that you come into fruition with the credit analysis on the credit report. What I'm saying is that don't sell them for that credit report. Sell them for the actual credit per service, get the money in, get the deposit in, get the financing solution in, and then push them over to your onboarding team, in which case they're a lot more motivated because they're already monetarily invested into the service. It's a lot easier for them to go through the onboarding process, as in giving you utility statements or utility documents, proving proof of address, a social security number. The goal here is that you sell them before you push them into onboarding and getting a credit report. And what that's going to allow you to do is to separate sales with onboarding. Ultimately, rather than having to sell them twice for the credit report and then also for the actual credit per service, you're only just selling them once for the credit per service. And because they're monetary invested, boom, the onboardings become a lot easier because they're going to be following up with you. You're going to see that the people are going to be attacking you. Hey, guys, what's the next step? What's the next step? Rather than you chasing them down to get that credit report. What I'm trying to say is that going to make your life a whole lot easier. But nonetheless, guys, check this out over here for funding and for credit pair. We got all the sales scripts plugged into here. Matter of fact, let me do this really quick. At here. Boom. This way, you guys got it all over here. What is this over here? I don't want to take a look at this right now. All right, let's rock. All right, so the next thing I really want to get into here is we're going to talk about newsletters. Let's talk about newsletters, guys. I absolutely love newsletters, because like I said, whenever I do a freaking newsletter, I'm getting either somebody to buy it directly, I'm getting my calendar booked up, whatever it might be. And I have a very simplistic way of handling newsletters that I think you guys are gonna like tremendously. With that being said, we're gonna pass it over to here with ChatGPT, and I'm gonna show you exactly how we put together a newsletter very easily. The way that we do this is, of course, we use ChatGPT on our side, and we have a document that you guys can directly plug into your ChatGPT account overall to make it easy. So let's do this. Let me go to ChatGPT. Let me pull out this document here. I share my screen over here. And by the way, guys, your first 10 newsletters, just do it as often as you can. Don't overthink them. Keep it very freaking simple. The most important part of your newsletter is not even to really add a link onto there, not even add a call to action. It's really to remind people that you exist by providing value. And by providing enough value, you're building trust with these type of people, building rapport, and these people will then inherently go over and chase after you. You're gonna be attracting these people rather than just promo. So with that being said, I call my newsletters the funding and credit cash flow files. I'm gonna show you how to come up with that name in a second over here. But let me actually go over to here. Let me get the folder newsletter over here. I wanna make sure I save this, and I wanna share it on the link over to here for you guys. Cool. So for those that do not have the newsletter creation guide over here, let me make sure I share with you guys. I just lost where I just saved it. Quick second here. Newsletter creation, boom, push it into here. There we go. I don't know if I'm able to put into this meeting chat over here, am I? Boom. Newsletter creation. After this call, I'm also gonna take this PDF. I'm gonna throw it into the database as well too, so you guys all have it. But long story short, what you're doing over here is you're taking this newsletter guide. What we're gonna do is create a new project first. Let's call this newsletter test. Create project. And what you're doing over here is you're taking this newsletter guide, throw it onto here first. Very simple. Let's pop up with this newsletter so we can see what we got going on here as we go through this. So this is just preloaded, pre-prompting all the information that you're really going to need based upon Alex Hormozi and Russell Brunson, my two favorite marketers. A little Ty Lopez stuff in here as well too. Ultimately, to be able to give you incredible newsletters that with incredible open rates. Oh, guys, honestly, my favorite open rate is quick question and then the custom value of the first name. But you can't use quick question every single freaking time. It's gonna run out. It's gonna be overused. So with that being said, use this guide to craft all your newsletters. And now one of the first couple of things, we're gonna go top down with the newsletters, is first thing you need to have is you're gonna need to have a title on the newsletter. How to use a document, create a new project, use it as a playbook to generate newsletters, SEO blog posts, email sequences, add copy hooks, and plug in client stories and testimonials using the framework. Awesome, very simple. Throw this onto here. Let me get my water over here. Let this load up, let it read the document first. This is, again, it's just pre-populating it. Awesome. Sweet, sweet. Now this, what is doing is pre-programming the newsletter, the project, based upon all these frameworks, all these characteristics over here, and a couple of example newsletters as well too. Next thing you want to make sure you do is you want to name this project. So where are we? Where are we? Over here, newsletter test. If you don't know how to name this newsletter, you go into here, you press these three dots and rename it. Just call your newsletter We got the newsletter system already set up onto here. Boom, boom. If you see over here, if you look at add files, it should already be in here. What happened over here? Make sure it's on here. If it's not, boom. Now one file. Now we see it. All right, cool. I like to use this for a couple of things. I like to use this for newsletters, blog posts. I like to use this for text message blasts. I like to use this for Instagram posting as well too. But let's keep on going. So first things first, guys, we need a newsletter name. The reason why we're doing this is because we want to make sure that our newsletter name is always the same thing whenever we're doing these newsletters. So whether you're doing it 1 time a week, 3 times a week, or 5 times a week. Again, newsletters are so freaking powerful because it's the best way to really build trust really quickly. In addition to building trust really quickly through open rates, through putting up a bunch of newsletters, it's a very cheap and easy, a lot less energy than normal way to be able to put out a whole bunch of offers on there, see what's really resonating with your audience, see what gets the most open rates, and also take those newsletters and then you build out content on behalf of those newsletters. So first thing that we're going to need, now let's pretend like it's just a credit repair business over here. We're doing the angle of, hey, I'm going to fix your credit to help you get funded. I have a credit repair business that fixes credit to help business owners get funding and scale. Give me a newsletter. Whoops, people just jumping in. Newsletter name. That's the first thing, guys. And let me pop up one of my newsletters over here just to show you what it would look like on Go High Level. And Go High Level, the best CRM in the world. You guys already have it because you guys are on this mastermind. And let me show you where I would go to craft these newsletters. And let me show you what one of mine would look like. Let me show you what my yesterday's newsletter actually looked like. I try to do newsletters at least 2, sometimes 3 times a week, depending what's going on here. Okay, so for starters, let me share my screen onto here, show you where you would craft your newsletter. So on your account here, you're gonna go to marketing over here and you can click on emails. You're going to want to go to campaigns and you're going to want to create a folder. Mine is just called funding and credit cash flow files. Now, again, I am the agency over here. I'm not running emails specifically for credit per services. I'm running these emails and newsletters to attract credit per business owners and funding business owners. But for this example, we're going to pretend like we're a credit per business and we're going to be running it for the angle specifically of fixing credit to get approved for funding. So with that being said, first thing you really want to do is first create a folder. Boom, create a folder. Fix credit, get funded. That's what we're going to do. Okay. But we don't have that name yet. What we first did is we asked ChatGPT to, hey, give us a whole bunch of names, catchy names that you might like that people are ultimately just going to remember. Again, you're going to be making newsletters consistent. Your first goal is to get your first 10 newsletters. Once you get your first 10 newsletters, you're going to start to understand what's really converting. Your open rates are going to start to go up. You're going to see the statistics behind in terms of open rates and different subject lines. It's going to allow you to be able to then post better content based upon what's actually resonating. Newsletters are super simple. I was at the airport the other day, just came back from Texas, and I literally did a newsletter on the airport. It took no longer than 20 minutes, but only after you set up this marketing brain. Again, the first step is just importing that file over there. And after this call, I'm going to share it on the database as well, too, on Discord. But let's keep on going. All right. Credit Catalyst, Funding Flow Weekly, Credit to Cash Flow Report. Ooh, I already love this name over here. System Scale, the Funding Fix, boom, boom, the Blade Report. Cool. Okay, so a couple of things that you really want to keep note when you're doing these newsletters is first, you want to make sure that the newsletter headline on top is always the same thing. And it's about what you're trying to do. As you can see over here, how I prompted ChatGPT, very simple. So I like this name. Great. The next thing that you want to do is if you have any case studies in the past, you're going to take those and you're going to throw it onto here. So I have a case study, just an example case study. Pull up my account, give me a second here. And this is just a case study I believe I made previous strategy session. Sign again. All right, cool. Promo, case study. Awesome. All right. I have a simple case study over here that I like. Nothing too crazy. It's just an example of a case study where I brain dumped on how somebody got funded over here, $32,000 in funding. Boom, very simple. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that and throw it into here. Here's I had a top line, boom, 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 layout, newsletter. Awesome. We're just going to take this and I'm going to download this. Now, when you're doing this, in terms of case studies and these newsletters, the first best newsletter is going to be about a client that you previously worked with, that paid you the most amount of money, that you really enjoyed working with. You're going to be building these newsletters to attract the type of people that you want to work with. When you're running ads and you're building out your newsletters, when you're running ads and your organic content and people are opting in, you're getting all these people emails. You're going to want to consistently post, send out these newsletters to this massive email list that you're always going to be building in order to be able to provide value, stay top of mind, and eventually attract these people into your business to eventually pay you money. That's what we're here for. But I'm just going to download this as a quick PDF over here. Boom, boom. Let me go back over to here. And very simple, what we're going to do. So the credit cash flow report, boom, that's the name of the game. And be like, create a newsletter blast about this case study. Very simple. Yeah, maybe it's like, hey, the person got funded 50K. He took that 50K, he put it into a fix and flip loan. He profited out another 30K, another 50K, doubled his money, whatever it might be. Again, it's going to be about the first couple of newsletters are really going to be about your best paying clients, somebody that you really enjoyed working with, so you can consistently attract those type of people to you. Boom. Okay, cool. So a couple of things. So let's read this out really quick. The credit to cash flow report, subject line, this is how Sam unlocked 32,000 in business credit and 0% APR. He stopped chasing banks. He started scaling his real estate portfolio. Problem, great deals, no capital to move fast, the shift, the result. Okay, so a couple of things that I really don't like about this is first things first. Let's go with the most obvious thing that I see right off this at the back. First thing is that there's too many emojis. There's too many things that just look like AI. So remove. There are too many emojis and EM dashes that look like this is made with AI. Please remove. What I'm talking about EM dashes are like this over here. This is called an EM dash. So you want to make sure to remove those. Just make life easier. There are too many emojis onto here. Boom. Now it's looking a lot healthier. The next thing right out the back, what I'm seeing without even really reading anything, is that I don't like this. When you're doing newsletters, you don't want to do promo. You really don't. You want to make sure that you're providing value and attracting people to this. As well, too, if you are putting out, let's say you got a bunch of let's say you got a bunch of new emails in and you haven't emailed them back, you haven't had any type of email conversations in the past, and you send out links to these people, chances are it's not going to go to them, and chances are it's going to increase that spam rate and decrease the deliverability, as in you won't be able to send it out to people because it's immediately going to go into the spam folder. That's the last thing that we want here. So you want to make sure first is that remove any call to action. Point of this news letter is strictly to provide value. Awesome. Nice and simple. Another thing too, I was talking to this business owner the other day, and he's trying to sell his business for around $4.8 million. It's a local service business. It is the people that replace the glass on your doors, on your cars. And he was trying to sell it to somebody, and he wanted to retire off of it. He was going to sell it for 4.8 and somewhere around there, and he was going to do an extra year with them to make sure that it's running. And we were talking about this, and he told me that he had no emails on his business. I was like, okay, this is interesting because how is this new company to come in and continue to allow the cash to flow? Yes, he has an incredible Google My Business listing, but that email list in itself adds a lot of equity to your business as well. It adds a lot more value onto the business. So what we're doing with him is we helped him be able to do a couple of text message blasts, email blasts, a lot of retargeting campaigns to bring all those people to opt in back into this email because that's going to considerably increase the value of his business. If he has a $4.8 million business and you actually have a massive fucking email list to represent that, it's almost going to add another zero onto that value proposition. So with that being said, guys, people still read emails. People really do. And at the very least, it keeps people on top of mind, especially when we're talking about business owners over here. It will people look at the emails. Let's keep on going over here. Okay. The credit cash flow report. How Sam unlocked 32,000 in business credit at 0% APR. The problem, great denials. Oops, move that. No capital move fast. Sam had a sharp eye for real estate deals. Every time a new property hit the market, he found himself scrambling for cash. Traditional lenders are slow. Personal max every deal like lost opportunity. The shift and everything changed once Sam. Do you understand how business credit? Let me just read through this really quick, and I'll give you my opinion on here. Okay, so first thing is that it still sounds promo-y. It still sounds salesy. It's sounding salesy. Make it sound natural, like we are having. Another thing I don't like doing is Alex Ramosi really stresses this is that you have to provide copy on the fifth, sixth grade level. And what that means is that human beings, we are naturally lazy. If we see big syllable things, we're probably gonna just skip over things. If things that are complicated, it will force people to hesitate. When people hesitate, they don't read, they don't convert. It sounds a little salesy, make it sound a little bit more natural, make it's easy to read like a fifth grade level. I'm going to go over the subject lines in a second and also how to split test them as well. That's powerful. Cool. The problem. I also don't like his labels. It's also, let's remove the labels and the line separations as in like these lines over here. Awesome. That's looking a lot better now. It's looking like a proper newsletter. Again, it's still giving this EM dash over here, but the very end, just tell it to remove EM dashes again. That's not a problem. Sam's a real estate investor who kept running into the same problem. Every single time a good property came up, he didn't have quick access to money. The banks moved too slow and using personal credit, meaning risking his own accounts. More than once, he had to watch solid deals slip away because he couldn't move fast enough. His credit wasn't bad, but it wasn't setting him up for business funding. Like a lot of business owners, he thought having decent credit was enough. It turns out banks look at very specific things when deciding who gets to get approved, and Sam's profile wasn't speaking their language yet. Once he took a closer look at how lenders think, things started to change. He stopped applying everywhere and started focusing on preparation instead. He learned what banks wanted to see, how the accounts were spaced, what limits he had, and how his existing credit was managed. Small tweaks made a big difference. Within a few days, Sam got approved for 32,000. Thinking in the room, he needed to fund renovations and move quickly to his next property without touching his personal credit or waiting for anybody else. What's more important is what he learned. Getting funded isn't about luck or perfect credit. It's about understanding the system, setting up in the right way. Now, this is really telling a story, and I don't believe it's giving enough value. This is two story. I want to provide more value on how Sam obtained a 700 credit score and removed negative. A different story. His first step he took was understanding what actually occurred in his score. A lot of people skip this part and jump right into disputing, but Stan started with a full audit and he's looking at each account payments utilization. He tackled drug service right ways, testing random disputes. He verified every account and focused only on items that were inaccurate or outdated. He used consumer law to request validation. He had several collections and late payments removed from it. Awesome, awesome. Now, the other thing too is that this is telling a story about Sam. We want to subtly tell him that, hey, we helped Sam do this. Boom. That's a lot better. Where Sam first came to us, he wasn't in a bad spot, but his credit profile wasn't where he needed to be for business funding. He owed late payments, some high balances, and a couple of collections that made lenders pause. That's already sounding a lot better. That's already sounding, hey, we're the ones that actually help Sam go from A to Z. The goal wasn't just to fix his credit score, it was to rebuild his entire credit foundation so banks can see him as a safe, reliable borrower. The first thing we did together was a full credit audit. Most people jump straight into disputing without knowing what's really holding them back. But with Sam, we slowed down and reviewed everything line by line, balances, payment history, utilization, and negative accounts. That gave us a clear picture of what we needed to change first. We ultimately really want to make a newsletter that keeps people reading, providing enough value, not getting boring, and keep people reading so they actually can learn from it. The more people that learn from it, yes, you might think that, yo, these people are just gonna do what I say in the newsletter and never use my services. But that's hardly the case because we're busy and we're also lazy. If you give them the freaking answers, it's chances are some people might use it. Majority of people are not going to use it though. It's like when you sell a course. Like I used to during coronavirus, I made a fuck ton of money, relatively a fuck ton of money in around 2 months. Made around $67,000 just selling courses, and it was so fucking interesting because 95% of the people would not look at the course. It was crazy. Like I don't know how many members it was. I was selling it for around a grand a pop, sometimes 2 grand a pop, teaching people how to really run Facebook ads and content distribution, etc. But literally, again, 95% of the people would might watch the first or second video, take a look at some of the checklists. And it was really a good entryway for people to then rock and roll with my software or my agency services, mostly my software. But that was incredible because people were paying me 2 grand. It would significantly overcome ad spend, it was significantly overcome ad spend, and then I'll get them into some sort of subscription with the actual software services. But with that being said, if you give the people all the value, if you tell them exactly, hey, this is what you need to do to fix your credit, you tell them word for word what you need to do, provide as much value as possible, majority of the people, like 95% of the people, more than that, are not going to do it. A, because you don't have enough time, and B, because we're just inherently lazy. You'd rather hire somebody else that actually knows what they're doing. A lot of times people are like, yo, this is overwhelming, or no, I'm not suited for this, or they don't believe in themselves to do it. I don't know, whatever the case is, they're not going to do it. And because you're providing the value, because you're showing them that you have proof of work, because you're showing them that you know what you're talking about and providing that value, people are going to be like, yeah, that sounds good. I trust this guy, but he's better at this than me. I'd rather just hire him, pay him the money, and have him just do it for me. But with that being said, let's keep on going over here. First thing we did together was a full credit audit. Most people jump straight into disputing without knowing what's really holding them back. But with Sam, we slowed down by reviewing every line by line, balances, payment history, utilization, negative accounts. That gave us a clear picture of what we needed to change first. Again, the EM dash is over here at the very end, just telling to remove it because whenever you do another prompt, it just, I don't know, subconsciously, AI subconsciously throws it back on there. Let's keep on going. Everything line by line. Once we had a roadmap, here's what we had to focus on. Reading the report the right way, so sending blanket disputes. You help Sam to challenge only the inaccurate or outdated items by using proper validation members and methods and consumer laws. Several old accounts, late payments were successfully removed. Reducing utilization across key accounts. Sam brought his credit card balances below 10%. This made a huge difference. Lender saw that he could manage debt responsibly, and his score climbed about 50 points in just a few weeks. Awesome. I like doing the three-step formula as well too. People like things in three. Add a new positive reporting. Once the negative items were cleared, we helped them open small trade lines and secured accounts that reported monthly. Those fresh on-time payments build momentum, creating a stronger data trail for lenders to trust. Over time, the score crossed the 700 mark. More importantly, his overall profile looked like balanced and healthy, the kind that banks love to approve. That's when everything started to click. Sam was able to qualify for 30,000 in business credit, 0% APR, giving him the capital he needed to move on real estate deals without touching his personal funds. This is big lessons learned here. Not about the score amount, it's about structure. Okay, cool. This is great, but I want to make sure that we also add a little bit of pain points. I want to add a little emotions. Emotions is really what gets people to buy over here. We want to add more emotions. How did Sam feel getting denied? How did he do after getting the funding? The funding then result in him profiting 30, 50K, I'd say 50K off his fix and flip real deal. People like relating to family as well too. Family, friends, business. With that being said, incorporate a story about how his family felt after making that money and that they took a vacation, felt less stress, or they're finally able to take a vacation, felt a lot less stress, just got a little money in the pocket. Cool. And then it's also add that you want to add a lot more emotions and pain points. The point of this is not to make it seem like it's generic, not to make it seem like AI made it, even though AI really did make it. I love that one. Sam first came to us, he was tired, not just from work, but hitting wall after wall every time he tried to move forward. He had the drive, he had deals lined up, but when it came to the banks for funding, he kept getting the same response: sorry, not approved. Every rejection felt heavier than his last. And his credit wasn't terrible, but those oil late payments and high balances to the store lenders didn't like. That's when we stepped in. But I liked how we had these three-step formula. So let me take this. I liked incorporating the three steps. All right, cool. So that on here as well too. Welcome newcomers too. Welcome. If you guys have any questions as well too, just don't hesitate to throw it on the Zoom chat. But we're gonna continue over here. All right, I like that a lot better. I like getting these little three-step formulas over here because it pops out a lot more. And people just like things in three. When Sam first came to us, he felt stuck. He was hardworking real estate investor who knew how to find great deals. Every time he tried to move forward, he got denied. The bank said no. The lenders said he needed a stronger profile, and each rejection hit harder than the last. So it's like it wasn't just business more, it was about pride. He wanted to build something lasting for his family without the access to every outreach. So instead of guessing, we sat down and built a roadmap. Once he had the full pictures of credit, here's what we focused on. Boom, clean the report the right way, reducing utilizations, adding new positive reporting. You applied for business funding this time, you got approved, no denials, no stress. You buy a fixed and footprint, eye for months, the dealer couldn't move on before this time. Everything came together and the property sold, clear 15 year in profit. Reward was in the check. Santos at closing date took his wife and kids on the first vacation in years. Oh, I love that part over there. They went out on the beach, shut off their phones for the week, just enjoying the peace they worked so hard for. Adding that family on there, because everybody can relate to a family. People buy from those that they like. So you're adding like these emotional stories, the pain points, bringing it into how it helped their family grow as well too. To not just credit and funding, but like the emotions that they felt. The more you can relate with people, the more it's going to just drive more emotions. It's more going to get people to like you. and that now he is on his second round funding and eyeing his next deal. Spelled eyeing wrong, but it's okay. And then we're going to go over the subject line and pre-header. Let me get this in here first. Vacation. So he's sending his second round of funding, already eyeing his next investment property. Guys, this is working. That's the power structure. Once you understand the credit, everything starts moving in your favor. The credit and cash flow report. Boom. Awesome. Next thing we want to do is just go over the ending over here. So I like the credit cash flow report, but this over here, when credit turns into capital and systems create freedom. That's okay over here. Let me pop up mine just to show like a template of how I do mine here. Let me pop up my somewhat recent one. Let me try to see if I can preview it here really quick. Preview campaign. There we go. Sweet. All right, all right. So a couple of things that we want to make note. I'm just looking at mine so I can make sure I compare and contrast. We want to make sure that at the very end, we have a little bit of what's the point of this? So first, remove this. My name, so people can associate the brand. Played Dorado. You want that? Oh, am I sharing my screen again? No, I'm not. Wait a second. There we go. Cool. So at the very end, I was like, just remove this over here. Boom. Written by Blade Dorado, the credit cash flow report. At the very end, saying, it's like I have mine at the very end saying, that's for the funding and credit cash flow about showing real stories of business owners who stop customers financial. Let's say at the very end, say that's what the credit and say something like, no, ChatGPT. Onto here. Actually, let me add in the bottom. That's what the something like that. Make this sound better. That's what the credit cash flow report is all about. Restores a business owner stop chasing quick wins, rebuild the credit right and turn it into lasting cash flow. Stands for helping real people take back control. It restores a business owner who stop chasing quick wins, rebuild the credit the right way, and turn it into lasting cash flow. So I'm grinding for drafts. I like option 3. but I want to say it's real stories. That's the heart of the cash flow, sharing resources with business owners who stop grinding for scratch to build the credit and creating. Awesome. Great. Give. Great. Now put that before the signature and give me the full newsletter. We're saying this like twice over here. I'm like, yes, feels like we are saying this twice. Almost there. After that, subject lines and how to split test. Boom. Awesome. Last thing I want to do over here, you just scroll through this really quick. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Awesome. All right. So now last thing over here I want to do is just remove EM dashes or signs of AI. Cool. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the actual editor, email editor over here, and go high level. Give me a quick high level. Reloading is your best friend. Okay. So let me share my screen. I'm actually going to send this out. Just to show an example. So we call ours. Oops. ChatGPT. It's like I would even go as far as boom. Just calling it that, so we know. Okay. What we need to do first is subject line. One thing to keep in note is that this is a long subject line. The majority of the people taking a look at your emails are going to be on the phone. So what that means is that because it's such a long subject line over here, a lot of this is going to get covered up. You're going to find out that it's going to be like this, all like here, and the rest of it's going to be cut out. So you want to optimize the subject line to more so mobile people. And then we also want to make sure we're creating split tests as well. Let's go here first and let's go to rename folder. Boom, boom. I'm gonna press create new campaign over here. Put a blank. Sign editor. Keep it very simple in the very beginning. Overall, eventually you can add like your logo onto here, a header. I'm gonna call this one SM. Okay, so we need first we're gonna need give me 3 mobile friendly subject lines to split. Let's just give me, yes, let's do that. I think this one's gonna perform better. 50K in profit by fixing credit and getting funded. Can you give me a few more options based? Oh, never someone jumps in, it stops me from writing. Based on that, including pain points. Awesome, awesome. I'm going to mute you because it distracts me. All right, let's keep on going. If you have any questions, by the way, as I'm going through this, just throw in the chat or unmute yourself, no problem. Or you can do like the wave hand emoji thing. All right. You're stuck in denial. They made 50K to fix your credit. No approval, no cash. The one funding move flipped it all. I like that. Like three. I fixed your credit. Turn one doing the 50K profit. I like four. I like 10 also as well too. Cool. So to go into here, we're gonna start from scratch. What we're gonna do first is we're gonna grab the newsletter that we just created. All here. Whoops. Grab that. I'm gonna take this. You can remove this. It's just like a distraction. Sam, case, study, class, whatever you just remember it as. I like to even it out a little bit. All right, first make it look good. As in just spacing it out whenever there's like a new break in the line. So it's easier for people to read, easier for people to really just skim through. Written by Blade Trout. I'm not too crazy about that. I like to your success. Ah, to your success. The cash flow report. I like that. That was good. Cool. The cash flow report, we should also use it as a headline on the very top as well. Boom. That. So what we're going to do is add a plus. We're going to add a text at the very top as well too. I'm going to grab the cash flow report. And this is where I had to just be a little bit creative when you're doing this. Cash flow report. Grab this. Let me go to the little side over here. Maybe decreases significantly. I like to use, what are we at? 14. Let's bring it up to 16. So it makes it a little bit bigger. Here, 14, 16. When Sam first came to us, it felt stuck. Awesome. This is 22. This is 16. This is what? 21. This should be the biggest. Cool. You want to underline it as well too, just so it pops out, just like that. Boom. That's looking a whole lot better now. All right, sweet. So now we got the newsletter. Let me space out a little bit so it looks nicer. Always making sure that you're reading everything, making sure everything's looking nice. You know, everything that we're doing in ChatGPT is also pre-programming it. That's why we create a project. We're going to go to A/B testing. Now what we're going to do in A/B testing is we're going to split test. We're split testing subject lines. So we're going to go into the subject lines that we have. I liked this. I like 3, 4, and I like 10. Let's go here. Boom. 4, and then 10. But give me 10. Even then, it's a little bit long for mobile. Let's see how it looks. No, I don't mean that. Give me number 10. Shit, stab it. There we go. Just be a little more specific. Awesome. Go over to here. What was the original one? I like this one as well too. Let me see. All right, cool. So a lot simpler as well too. You can take a look at what it looks like mobile over here. You can take a look at what it looks like desktop over here. Very simple. Then you want to press save. You want to press send schedule. You want to schedule it out. Yo, Blair, when is the best time to send out your newsletter blast? Ask ChatGPT. When is the best time to send out this news? (8:30). I like to do the 8 a.m. one. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do around 8:30, maybe it's not actually. So as I say, we send this out tomorrow. Friday is a good time. We'll send it around 9 a.m. Your sender email is going to be the one that you already have associated to the account. Uh, it's either going to be your actual business name or your name. For example, Blade Dorado, Blade or credit repair at bladedorado.com, whatever. Sender name, add your name. Over here, the actual subject lines you split testing. And the last thing that we need is the actual preview text. Do we have that up here? Real story about training frustration. I don't like that too much. Give me. And pain point inspired and mobile. Emotions is the number one thing that gets people to be interested. Like this, the banks are known as 50K ahead and stress free. Oh, this one here. Stuck with bad credit and missed deals. Sam story will hit home. Boom, let's use that. I like that. Now it's really up to you. And the last thing that you're gonna be doing over here, guys, is select all contacts. Don't worry about UTM tracking. Don't worry about tax. I'm not gonna send this obviously, but you just want to hit the top right, say send. Let me just save it for now. But this is what we're doing over here. We're building out these newsletters. We're going to send out at least 10 of them. And then the best performing newsletters, all you're going to do is take that and add it to your new lead automation. So on your pipeline, you got new leads, you got engaged, people that replied or clicked on those emails, then you got scheduled, then you got missed call, and you got hot, then you got signed up. New lead is when you do all the nurturing when a new lead comes over to you. When somebody gives you an email, when somebody opts in, when somebody becomes a lead but doesn't schedule. All these newsletters that you're creating, this database over here, are going to be adding directly to that new lead campaign. So whenever somebody opts in with you, it's automatically going to be sharing these newsletters out on a day-to-day basis until they push them into a scheduled call. And the last thing I really want to go over as well too is that, let me go back to the email builder over here, is that Go High Level has a powerful blog builder. All right. And what you could do, let me go to the snapshot here. My snapshot is a blank one. So once you're building out the emails, I'll do this like after you got at least 10 newsletters sent out, add it to a blog page. Because ultimately what this is doing is that through like strategic keywords that are on those newsletters, hey, how do I fix my credit to get funding for a real estate fix and flip loan? Boom. That's like a keyword that people are actively searching up. The more newsletters that you have out there, the more blogs that we have out there, the more traffic that we're bringing to these blogs is overall going to increase your search engine optimization, your Google listing. So the more blogs that we have there with a bunch of traffic going over to there is going to get you ranked up to the top of Google. So whenever we do these newsletters, you're going to want to start getting into the habit or build a system with VAs so that they also publicize it publicly. They publicize it on Go High Level's blogs. In which case, what that's doing is creating a whole bunch of backlinks on the back end where people are reading your blog, maybe add a video onto the top of the blog, and then you have the actual newsletter below it, and the call to action just be schedule a call with you. All that is doing is giving your overall website, your overall brand to just be pushed to the very top of Google. So when people are actually searching up things like, how do I fix my credit to get approved for a fix and flip real estate loan? Boom, you're going to be popping up on there because you are using the specific keywords that those people are actually searching up. Another thing that you could really be doing is ask ChatGPT to redo the newsletter using keywords that my target audience will use. We already looked through the entire email. We liked how the emails performed. We already did have a bunch of keywords onto there that's overall going to boost your social media presence over here. So I'm not going to do that just yet. What I'm saying is that first step is use that folder, use that document that we have over here. Get your first 10 build out that brain for you. As you're programming it in, it's going to start to learn how you talk, how you want to do your newsletters for the future. Use this recording over here. Use AI to give you the exact action steps as you be hooked up with Fathom. Plug this into your marketing brain. Consistently do newsletters. Newsletters are super nice because let's say that your Monday, Tuesday are booked solid. Wednesday starts to trickle down a little bit. You probably want to do a newsletter blast on Tuesday just to book out Wednesday without really pushing up your ad spend. And this is a free way to be able to just get more people to be interested in you, get people on top of your mind. It's going to bring in a bunch more conversions, a bunch more scheduled calls, and most importantly, it's going to attract people to you by initially providing free value to them. I love this because by doing these newsletters as well too, you're going to start to see what type of content and subject lines and things really start to engage with. You're going to start to see what type of content really starts to resonate with your audience. And the newsletters that just do better, just create content around it. When you create content around it, add it to the blog. You're going to have the video on top. You're going to have the newsletter right down below it. And that overall is going to rank up your Google listing as well too. So guys, if you don't have any questions on here, we recorded all of this. Once it's processed, you already know I'm gonna throw it onto Discord. We're gonna make sure we fully take care of you guys. If you have any questions on this, guys, don't hesitate to reach out. I got you. I don't think we have any questions right now. People are popping in and out. I want to thank you guys always for watching, guys. Next week, we're going to be a little bit more like how we typically do it. I really wanted to get these newsletters out because this newsletter workshop here, because I know it can benefit everybody over here. But the next week, we're going to go back to the typical FAQ questions that we do. I did skip a couple people's FAQ questions. Excuse me for that. If you have specific questions, guys, just drop it to Discord. Time is freaking money. I want to answer your questions ASAP. This way you can make as much money as possible. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. You're so welcome over here, everybody on chat. You're so welcome, Victoria. Thank you for hopping on. As always, guys, I want to help you make more money because when I do, I get paid more. So don't hesitate to reach out. Guys, you got the Discord public chat over here. We got this incredible mastermind. So use the resources, use the system as well, and do more newsletters, guys. Get to your first 10 newsletters, guys, and you're going to see a huge difference in your business, guys. I really guarantee that shit. Whenever I do a newsletter again, guys, it literally makes me more freaking money. So just do it, guys. It's free and it's awesome. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Albert. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you for everybody, guys. Any questions, throw into Discord. I got your back. God bless, guys, and I'll see you on the next mastermind or on Discord. Peace, guys.